You know, my lord, Ilya said, Daedalus thought you would come. He thought the riddle might be a trap, but he couldn't resist solving it.
Minos frowned. Daedalus spoke to you about me?
Yes, my lord.
He is a bad man, princess. My own daughter fell under his spell. Do not listen to him.
He is a genius, Ilya said. He believes a woman is just as smart as a man. He was the first ever to teach us that if we had minds of our own. Perhaps your daughter felt the same way.
Minos tried to sit up, but Ilya's sisters pushed him back into the water. Ilya came up behind him. She held 3 tiny orbs in her palm. At first I thought they were bath beads, but she threw them in the water and the beads spotted bronze threads that began wrapping around the king, tying him up at the ankles, binding his wrists to his sides, circling his neck. Even though I hated Minos, it was pretty horrible to watch. He thrashed and cried out, but the girls were much stronger. Soon he was helpless, lying in the bath with just his chin above the water. The bronze strands were still wrapping around him like a cocoon, tightening across his body.
What do you want? Minos demanded. Why do you do this?
Ilya smiled. Daedalus has been kind to us, your majesty, and I do not like you threatening our father.
You tell Daedalus, Minos growled. You tell him I will hunt him, and I will hound him, even after death. And if there's any justice in the underworld, my soul will haunt him for eternity.
Brave words, your majesty, Ilya said. I wish you luck in finding your justice in the underworld.
At that, the bronze threads wrapped around Minos' face, making him a bronze mummy. The door to the bathhouse opened. Daedalus stepped in, carrying a traveler's bag. He trimmed his hair short. His beard was pure white. He looked frail and sad, but he reached down and touched the mummy's forehead. The threads unraveled and sank to the bottom of the tub. There was nothing inside them. It was as if King Minos had just dissolved.
A painless death, Daedalus said. More than he deserved. Thank you, my princesses.
Ilya hugged him.
You cannot stay here, teacher. When our father finds out...
Yes, I fear I've brought you trouble.
Oh, do not worry for us. Father will be happy enough with the old man's gold, and Crete is a very long way away. He will blame you for Minos' death. You must flee to somewhere safe.
Somewhere safe. For years I have fled from kingdom to kingdom, looking for somewhere safe. I fear Minos told the truth. Death will not stop him from hounding me. There is no place under the sun that will harbor me, once word of this crime gets out.
Then where will you go?
A place I swore I'd never enter again, Daedalus said. My prison may be my only sanctuary.
I do not understand, Ilya said.
It's best you do not.
But what about the underworld? One of the other sisters asked. Terrible judgment will await you. Every man must die.
Perhaps, Daedalus said. Then he brought a scroll from his traveling bag, the same scroll I'd seen in my last dream, with his nephew's notes. Or perhaps not. He patted Ilya's shoulder, then blessed her and her sisters. He looked down once more at the coppery threads glinting at the bottom of the bath.
Find me if you dare, King of Ghosts.
He turned towards the mosaic and touched a tile. A glowing mark appeared, a Greek symbol. Then the wall slid aside. The princesses gasped. You never told us of secret passages, Ilya said. You have been busy.
The Labyrinth has been busy, Daedalus corrected. Do not try to follow me, my dears, if you value your sanity.
My dream shifted. I was underground in a stone chamber. Luke and another half-blood warrior were studying a map by flashlight. Luke cursed. It should have been last turn. He crumbled the map and tossed it aside.
Sir?
His companion protested. Maps are useless here, Luke said. Don't worry, I'll find it.
Sir, is it true that the larger the group,
the more likely you'll get lost? Yeah, that's true. Why do you think you're set out solo explorers to begin with? But don't worry, as soon as we have the thread, we're going to lead the vanguard through.
But how do we get the thread?
Luke stood, flexing his fingers. Oh, Quintus will come through. All we have to do is reach the arena, and it's at the juncture. Impossible to get anywhere without passing it. That's why we must have truth with its master. We have to stay alive until...
Sir!
A new voice came from down the corridor. Another guy in Greek armor ran forward carrying a torch.
The Decrani found a half-blood!
Luke scowled. Alone? Wandering the maze?
Yes, sir, you better come quick. They're in the next chamber. They've got him cornered.
Who is it?
None of us have ever seen before, sir.
Luke nodded. A blessing from Kronos. We may be able to use this half-blood. Come. They ran down the corridor. and I woke with a start, staring into the dark. A lone half-blood wandering the maze. It was a long time before I got to sleep again.